Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock p.m. Um, Welcome to the Coorest AMA. We have definitely a lot to talk about, and yeah, I don't want to keep you all wasting your time on my introduction. We will start with Jeroen. We will explain what our plans are on getting more funds into the project, and that will also directly be a bridge for the main question that a lot of you have had and gave us in the AMA question channel about the IDO. Just a side note, the AMA question channel is still open for everybody to add their questions. Also, please be aware that this AMA will be recorded so that we also give the chance for other people that are not able to attend tonight that they can listen back. So, and yes, yeah, as always, we are open to all your questions. Um, Let us be a good discussion and treat each other with respect. And one test can a lot of like William, Jeroen, and Nick, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
Yes.
hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear you.
yes.
So I just wasn't talking in into thin air. So yeah, well, let's dive into it directly. Jeroen, please take the stage. If there is something, and I'm talking to the people in the audience that you want to give your insights on, if you have any questions or you want to take the stage, please raise your hand and I can see if I can add you directly. So yeah, have a good one, guys, and let's start. Jeroen, please go.
Yeah, shall I talk about the some exciting news we have about the funding? All right, so well, as you all have seen this year, markets, financial markets, and crypto markets are under heavy pressure. Yeah, I don't think that is something new for the most of us. I mean, we of course follow the markets daily, but it also means that launching in this heavy bear market is pretty tough. Um, Not especially or based on our project or our company, but mostly of these launch pads that don't want to launch in a complex market. They need to earn a lot of money as well. Yeah, that's a pretty heavy thing to launch in this time. So what we did is we went further, looking into, okay, well, how can we accelerate our company? I mean, we have some exciting software which is finished. Our Coorest Carbon standard is definitely an achievement of this year, which we are really excited about, since we can now take on with the heavy and the big guys. So what we did was we went to research. We had a lot of talks with private investors, with companies that will take care of investments, And of course, VCs as in venture capital. For people who aren't familiar with venture capital, these are investment vehicles in Europe and all over the world who invest in startups. And in some cases, not only invest in startups, but also will bring on board new team members. In some cases, even a special team that can have a lot of experience in how to set up the company to accelerate for the near future. And that got us thinking of, okay, well, I think we need to go for a company investment. So our exciting news is that we are accepted by NewChip. And NewChip is a venture capital accelerator, which is the connection between startups and a lot of VC companies. And it is divided into two things. First one is the VC funding, which means they will, together with us, via a big program, will make sure that the company is ready for investment. And besides that, they will help with professionalizing the company. And that means from management until technology, into positioning of the company, but also in collaborations, many things. And after multiple talks and a lot of due diligence, and well, our company went upside down, we got accepted. And that means that we are now running into the first week of the program, which will be around 6 months. And in the first 2 months, let's say, we will take care of the company, as in like setting it up for investment. And well, a lot of things need to be taken care of. For example, you need to deliver a very extended data room, especially for venture capital, because they want to know specific information and well, everything. And also in the next month, we will have some mentors on board, and that is pretty excited. Because that is our first step into professionalizing the company. And we have a couple of mentors, and one of them is Alok Kapoor. He is global. He was the global vice president at corporate business development at SAP, that immense software company. We will, he will be our mentor for the couple of weeks. Then we have Eric Watson. He is the ex-director of marketing strategy at Microsoft and is now a senior product manager at Google. Well, super excited, of course, especially for me as marketing. And Eric Watson is one of the people that I have been following for many years. Well, he's from Microsoft, director of marketing strategy. That's I get really excited about that. And the third one is Nick Triscridi. He's ex-direct product management of MasterCard. He was the global director at Citibank. He was one of the director of product management at BlackRock, and is now in the lead at Meta, Facebook/Meta. And that person is definitely exciting for Nick, since that guy is fully into technology, and I think that he can help us for sure with some cool technology stuff. We also have a long-term mentor that will be announced pretty soon. That isn't familiar yet. So you might be wondering, okay, well, VC funding, how is that going? And what about the IDO? Well, first things first, the company, of course, needs funding. I mean, we have been in a long term. We've brought the company until this point, and now it's time to accelerate. We have to accelerate in a very difficult market. But as you, of course, know, we have some very interesting software, some very interesting technology and business. So yeah, I'm confident that we will get some interesting funding in this. It also means that an IDO can still happen. If the markets are in the uptrend, VCs and external investors, they would like to see the community on board and doing an IDO, but they of course would also like it in a good market. So yeah, that is the exciting news we have regarding funding. So we're going to start with the VC funding, and after that, we'll have a look at the IDO in a good market. Yeah, well, we are in the first week, so I don't have that much anything more to update you about, but I will definitely keep you up to date because I think this is a very exciting step for us, for you, yeah, for the company.
Okay,
Thanks, Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you, Jeroen. I think this is a good bridge to Nick. And after Nick, we will have time to ask some questions that we have gotten afterwards your story, Jeroen, in the AMA question channel. Yeah, Nick, so probably you can explain more about, of course, we had in telling the community that we want to do an IDO. We started a private investment in beginning of this year in January, and we also had a lot of questions towards it. Say, okay, hey, yes, we have a bear market, but there's still projects that are doing IDOs and pretty successful. And so, what is the vision from Coorest on that? And please, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, so the IDO, you want me to go a little bit more into the details of the launch of the Coorest token itself?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so the Coorest token itself, it's very important in the Coorest ecosystem. So we really want to launch it. But yeah, launchpads, they advised us, just wait for the market to turn around. I think we reached out to I don't have the exact number, but personally I have spoken to 8, and I know William and Jeroen, they spoke to many as well, and they all advised us to wait, basically, because there's no liquidity in the market. And if you want to do a successful IDO, you need to set up a liquidity pool of a decent size. Otherwise, it's going to be horrible for the Coorest token price performance, and that's within nobody's interest. So yeah, because we need to set up a pool of a decent size in order to facilitate all the trading. And at this stage, all the launch pads said, no, don't do it. Yeah, that's a thing that we cannot control, the market conditions. But yeah, the token will be launched at a certain moment, because yeah, the governance and the staking is all connected to the Coorest token itself. But at the same time, that doesn't prevent us from building, because to be honest, the bear market now forces us to build. So when we launch, we think we can be more successful in raising extra money through an IDO, because the further you are in regarding development with your project, the more valuable the token will be. So and the feedback we got so far is that they think we already have developed a lot. That's helpful. But they also said that it could be that if you have a VC on board, that it is even better to launch the token. So yeah, there's many different ways, and there's also no one answer to this, to the launch of a token. People say, okay, go VC first, then IDO. Other people say IDO, but in reality, it's the liquidity in the market that dictates how much money can be raised. I mean, yeah, who's going to sell tokens now to reinvest in another project? The majority of the people holding coins don't feel like selling because they may be a bit underwater, losing some money, and that determines the whole market sentiment. I think that's it for the IDO and the token.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. So we have some questions that were raised after Jeroen, and I really want to answer them. So Jeroen, we got a question about, okay, great news, finding a VC, but that doesn't really guarantee that a VC wants to invest, and the whole process takes months. So can you tell us more about the process with new chip, yeah, expected time, and also does Coorest have enough funding to survive those months, if that are months?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, happily to tell more about that. Yeah, so the total program duration is 6 months, but it doesn't mean that the funding will come at the end of the period. Well, to give you a hint, it is also possible to connect VCs that we are already in talks with, connect with new chip to get them into the first round of VC funding. So we could speed up this process. So what we are doing now is, because we are not going to bet on one company, of course. So what we do is we have the new chip VC funding round. So let's say that's option number one. We are in talks with some other companies, investment companies, alongside new chip. And some meetings are in an early stage, some are in the in the third, fourth, five stage. And we also are in talks with a company who would like to, in some cases, see a deeper collaboration, maybe in teams, maybe in technology, maybe in some expertise we lack, but they have, or expertise we have and they lack. So there are multiple paths that we are running. And then we also have the fourth one, that is the IDO. There are different timelines with these paths. Of course, I can't guarantee anything, but I can say that there is enough interest for sure in our company for now. I think that the better we make sure that our technology is ready and our company is ready, the better the results, I think. And also, we can even combine different investors together, because it's pretty common that multiple investors are grouping, and so that one investor is they take some expertise on board regarding company management. The other one is putting in expertise in technology. So there are really different ways in investing and working together with other companies. So the next couple of months will be really excited for sure. Yeah. Also regarding the second part of the question, that was the lifeline of Coorest. We didn't expect to be in such a long runway. um, that's for sure. Of course, we wanted to have that IDO already happen. We would like to do it. We would like to have it happen as well. Maybe even more than you guys. But yeah, we have to, make sure that we sit tight, work together, make sure that we do our best for the company, in professionalizing the company as well, but also making some hard decisions in maybe in some business units, but also going to the core of the company, and in some cases, yeah, well, besides that, I want to have an idea as well. Getting some focus on different parts of the company is sometimes also a good thing, and I think that if we can survive this market, and we can generate funding, and we can then do an IDO, yeah, I think that we will have a very strong fundament for the future.
Yeah, thank you, Jeroen. And also, I think that we all definitely need to mention is that everything that we had in funding this year went totally into the development of the concept of Coorest. And like Nick said, is that we really have something to show, and that is what and that is also very important for us to tell, is that everywhere we went to events, or that we spoke on events, and people that contacted us, and we were telling our story, and we're showing what we already have, like we have the satellite data in the with collaboration with Floodlight. We have Chainlink that is still so excited of what we're doing, and provided us a grant, and Polygon that provided us a grant. So we really have like something here where we are very proud of. And um a lot of projects out there weren't able to show anything. It was just a white paper. And that gave us the confidence that we are really way ahead of what other projects are doing. That said, is I think also the biased side of our project, that we were so into that, okay, we cannot show this because it's not totally completed, or it's not like what we want to. We only want to go outside and tell what we have made when we are really satisfied and certain that this is really something worth to show. And of course, we could have done like communicate or show the community, hey guys, we added another button into the dApp. We ourselves personally didn't find that that was worthy enough to show, because we were going for the whole, we were going for the big picture. And now we really recognize and totally do not deny that that was, even every kind of update, if it was on the tech side or on the sales side or partnership side, that it was definitely worth to explain to the community. So it was never us for not communicating well. No, we were really working to the whole picture. And that is also something that, yes, we reflected on, and said, okay, every update, every progress, even it's a very minor project or a progress, or yeah, is definitely worth to show you guys, because it's everything is progress, and that makes what Coorest is. It's not that we're just some group of amateurs doing a thing that we like. No, we're really working on something very cool, and something that other people are really interested in. And so yeah, we really did work our asses off the last year with development, especially on the tech side. That yeah, it's only yeah, the only thing I can say, it's pretty amazing. So that said, what you guys heard so far. Are there any questions you still have that are not answered, or you would like to give your insights on? You're more than happy to raise your hand so I can bring you on the stage. And otherwise, please put that in the AMA question channel. Question is, we raised like 400K during the private sale. What is the current cash balance or cash equivalent balance? Our CFO is not here at the moment.
Could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear it well.
Yeah, yes, of course. So what is the current cash flow? Well, the cash balance or
Okay.
the cash equivalent balance. I don't know that number by name, but if you really want to go deep dive into that, yeah, we definitely want to tell that if you're looking for hard numbers. While people are typing in their questions, I want to go to the next part of this AMA. This is something that is on the marketing and sales side. So also a question that popped up in the AMA channel is that how will Coorest attract CCO2 buyers? And that's the two ways, of course, we are onboarding projects, but also buyers of the CCO2. I think that sales can definitely give you an answer in that, because there's a lot going on that side as well.
Yes, I can explain that a bit more. Thank you for the question. We are working with a lead generator. It's called the Uber lead. And what they do is they help us generate warm leads for the sale of NF3s. And we now focus more on the selling of the CO2 tokens. That will be our core business in the coming future. And what they do is they make connections, they have a talk, that these are all companies that are interested in acquiring or offsetting CO2. And we with that leads, and of course it's not only leads from the lead generator we have our own sales team, but they are companies that want to offset their emissions and are interested in acquiring CO2 tokens. So we put a lot of effort. We are switching from selling NF3s more to selling CO2 tokens in the future. And with those companies, and we see a lot of interested companies, we will find the buyers for the CO2 tokens. And it's a market, it's a new market. I mean, there's no CO2 token in the world that is certified and already for sale like ours is. So we are working our asses off to find those buyers. But we also need your help. I mean, if you know companies or you know people who want to offset for their emissions, let us know. We can talk with them. We can explain them what we do, how it works. They can put it on the balance sheet, and that is our go-to strategy for the rest of this year and next year to find those CO2 buyers.
If I may put an addition to that, William, you're also looking into new channels, as in companies, NGOs, and companies that are providing services for companies to compensate in any way. You're looking into that as well, right? As in like new channels to accelerate sales.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I mean, CO2, I mean, the COP27 is ongoing right now, and everybody in the world is speaking about emissions daily. So you see a lot of potential, and now we have to do some of the groundwork ourselves, but we see that people are already finding us. Just the other week, we got an interest from a company that arranges bookings for reservations, and they want to offset their emissions with the customers that do a reservation or a booking at their website. So you see a lot of interest from that side also.
Thank you, Wilman. Does anybody have something to add from the stage?
Yeah, so I can add one thing. So at this moment, yeah, we are partnering with another startup to integrate the micropayments where people can choose to offset and then use the CO2 tokens and the proof of carbon compensation certificate in the back end. So let's say if you buy something online and then you want to buy a t-shirt or groceries, and then yeah, the customer basically selects, okay, I want to make this purchase carbon neutral, and in the back end, then basically the CO2 token is bought, burned, and converted into the certificate and attached to that purchase. Yeah, because we believe that also mass adoption for offset lays in micro offset. So people wanting just 1 kilo, 2 kilo, half a kilo, because in the in the online retail, it's very important to offer a solution to a merchant that he can easily integrate that in his web shop, and then offer it again to his or her customers. Yeah, that's basically already built on testnet, and now we're finding, yeah, looking for merchants that want to do a test. We're looking how to set up CO2 token pools because we have to make sure we don't run out of supply. But yeah, that's what I'm focusing on right now. Um, Hopefully, we can roll that out somewhere next year.
Thank you. And then we have Diana that wants to add.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Diana Taborda. I recently joined Coorest, supporting the operational side as well as the finance side. I would like to add over the question about the cash flow and how we are doing with the capital. As I've been closely supporting our CFO, I can tell that the focus of Coorest have been on managing in a very careful way and applying a very um, analytical way to basically make our investment expenses movements towards building asset. So our main focus at the moment essentially is to whatever asset that at the moment was intangible, we are working very hard on making tangible, basically using the resources. And that has been essentially the focus on the investment that we got initially. So that related to the cash flow. So if you have any other question, I would be happy to reply on that. And I also want to let you know that we are currently working very hard on monitoring the plantation that we have in Spain. The fixed trees are growing very rapidly. So we are really confident about the whole visibility and the growth on the asset sides of our company, as well as we are working on the upcoming projects related to other plantations that we have in our roadmap. So I would be happy to share more information or reply your questions whenever you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. I have somebody that wants to come to the stage. Sunfil, I'm going to add you. Welcome. Let me see what happens here. Sunfil, you need to accept the invite.
Hi, all. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi. My name is Santel. Thank you for the AMA. So let me start off by I'm very excited by the news you all shared. VC, very cool. Also, on behalf of the community, I think we like to say we are all still very um, excited about the project. We love the trees, we love the planting, we love the videos of William sharing being there. So that's all good. I also like to address to Charlotte. Yes, please share all the buttons you add because that's what we like. We like to see the button. We like to tell you, can you make it green, but this better? And you say no, we make it blue because that's what we like. We like to be involved in every step you take. So then we can get more people excited about it. Tell them about our trees, sell them our trees, and get more people involved. Um, and that's what we all also like to see from the governance board. So that's maybe the biggest appeal we have to the CRC token. I know the biggest reason not to launch has to do with the market. And I think the biggest frustration with us is the utility of the coin. So my question is, have you ever thought about launching some like spare token for governance or of some way to start the governance board and get all the utility in before the token hits the markets? Um, and that's maybe my reaction to the story of Nick, because I can understand launch pads and all the bear market. Everybody wants to make money, but if I can add a critical note on the side, of course, the private investors also invested that money. And that money now, if you invest that now and also wait for a bear market, there's more money to invest into Coorest. So that money is now still in stables there somewhere on the side or in development, and there's nothing to show for that. So if you can add something from utility side for the community, like governance or some perk or something else, that is, I think, something we really like to see because then we can get more involved, let you know how much we care, and let you grow with us.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah, I gave it some thought because I explored two options. I've seen an option where you can send tokens in a sort of smart contract, and then you get some kind of derivative token back. But for me, it's really hard because I'm not sure how long to set the contract for, because is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? I don't know. And if I don't know that, then it's really hard to solve it in that way. I've also thought about it. Basically, we can mint a token that represents your private investment token, and then send it out to everybody that has that participated in the private sale. And basically, it acts then as a receipt. It's not tradable. But that can be done. But the most important thing is the utility. Because we can mint any token we want, we can send it out. But then the question is, okay, fine, what can we do with it? One thing that we really want to push forward is the forum. Everybody, I don't think everybody knows, but we already set up the forum. And that's basically the start of governance, because a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, it sounds very fancy, but we also have to be realistic, because it's very hard to decentralize, especially if we're at a young startup. So we also have to decide, okay, what kind of governance can we introduce at this stage, and what kind of governance decisions can we delegate already? Because you can imagine at the end of the day, at this stage, that somebody has to make a decision about the land that we buy. Somebody has to make a decision about the type of trees that we buy. Somebody has to make a decision regarding tech. Um, so yeah, yeah, maybe a question back. Okay, would what would you like to see? What kind of governance? Where would you would like to get involved in?
Great question. I think there's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, I will opt for mango trees at this point, but that's the inside joke, of course, because
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
CO2. Um, but mainly, my question is if we do not know what utility to give to a governance token or any token for the community, how will that change with the real token? And how do we? Because mainly, if we launch the token, I think the biggest buyers of the token will be the community that's in now. We've seen that with Vulcan Forge. We've seen that with the same community everywhere. They will be the biggest contributors to that at least at the start. So are we now the ones that are bringing in the value also for the VC? What's going to change there? Is there going to be more focus on the company and less on the community and the token? It, there's still a lot of questions now, and the longer it takes for the token to release and there's utility, the more questions we have where what to do with. It almost sounds like the token is now in your way. You know what I mean? You don't know what to do with it, but we have to do something with it, but we don't need it to advance the company. So at some point, the question is, was it wrong to do the private upfront, or I don't know. Don't get me
no,
wrong.
we know what to do with the token. Okay, I think one of the major uses will be staking, right? So you will because in the CO2 token contract there are multiple fees, and those fees end up in the Coorest treasury, right? So by onboarding farmers, we accumulate CO2 tokens. By transaction fees, we accumulate CO2 tokens. And when people generate certificates, we accumulate CO2 tokens. And those will be, and a certain percentage of those fees will be allocated as staking rewards to people that are staking Coorest tokens. So I think that's very important for the community to understand. Okay, yeah, it will give you a reward by staking. So that's important. At this moment, the CO2 token supply is very low, right? So staking rewards are negligible at this stage. But that will change when now we have started onboarding of farmers, and yeah, going forward in 2023, we will scale, I think, quite hard, and then the CO2 token supply will grow, and therefore the staking rewards for people holding the Coorest token will grow. And at a certain moment, depending on the price of the CCO2 token, that could bring a big benefit to people holding the tokens. But the most important and at the same time difficult topic is governance. How do you decentralize a company, right? Especially a company that is dealing with real world assets and digital assets. And I personally think decentralization is a step by step process because it's impossible to start up decentralized. There's always someone with an idea and then a white paper, and then someone builds the tech, and someone is buying the first land. And at a certain moment, when the company has enough stability, then I think it's good to get the community involved because, for example, let's say next year we plant our batch 2, right? And then each year we want to do a new batch. And I think that's a good way of getting the community involved. Like, okay, what kind of batch would you like to see? In which area? And those kind of decisions are very good to get the community involved. And for example, for scaling, right? So, okay, where can we find farmers or green projects? And where should we look at what? Because we are a global company in the sense of onboarding, right? So then I think it's good to get community involvement. Okay, what do you think, and in which regions shall we focus? Those kind of governance decisions are I think very useful to make together with the community.
Right, yeah. Thank you very much for your answers. I think it clears something up. The staking, how staking works in with the fees. That's clearing up the market size for me, and that also makes clear to me why they really want to wait for the bull market for on that part. I think you hit the nail with the governance board. Only I think we don't have to wait for a decentralized one. I think none of the community is really looking for a complete decentralized governance yet. We just want a way to do proposals, and you can dismiss them, and you can like just like a council, see it like a council. We like to discuss with you, brainstorm with you, see what we can do more. I think there's also Jaap in the AMA is the same kind of question. So how?
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we want to have an active role for the tree council, because as we see it now, because it always starts with an idea somewhere, and then there needs to be some kind of pipeline and certain checks for an idea to materialize into a potential project that also needs management and reporting. And therefore we have set up a whole process that is described in the forum. So yeah, we invite people to go to the forum, read it, and start basically. Because the why we wanted to be in the forum is also because of documentation, so we can see in the history what is being discussed. And because we will need to track and vote, because in the end of the day, an idea can result in a real world project in our case, right? So if somebody has a great idea, let's say, okay, I want to start a lychee farm in Vietnam, and the community decides, okay, that is a good idea and it's economically viable. Okay, then somebody's going to need to execute it, right? So we have to appoint people to it. We have to get funding. We have to get a reporting system, and somebody needs to be accountable for the execution of that project. And that all starts from the forum. So yeah, please go there and start. It's the infrastructure is set up for people to start communicating about it. And yeah, we would love to see the tree council get involved as some kind of, I would not say gatekeepers, but like idea, because there is a protocol for testing ideas. Like there's like a nine-point system how you can score ideas, and because ideas need to be materialized in a business plan, that's how we see it, and that's quite some work, to be honest. And that we need help from the community, and especially experienced business people that would like to get involved, setting up and helping people to write the business plan, for example.
Thank you very much. I have just one last question, and that's a simple one. Do you consider rewarding now the private investors that wait with you for the market to improve? Because that can take another year, for example. So, and they have locked their money with you. Is there a way you think about how to reward them for that?
Who wants to answer that? Yeah, I think yeah, reward. Yeah, we have not really discussed what kind of rewards. To be honest, we were super focused internally on building and getting VC funding in. Yeah, that can be discussed. like, okay, what kind of rewards? Is it like, okay, you get early access to staking? Um, we don't know yet, because to be honest, there's not a lot to give away at this moment. We are focused on using all the funds for building. Um, yeah, and we can we cannot really airdrop any NFTs at the moment because yeah, NFTs are real. They cost us money, so and we have to plant. So yeah, and we want to be sure that we don't, yeah, hand out things that will hurt us in the future. So maybe there's ideas about that, but to be honest, at this moment we have not really thought about that in detail.
Thank you very much. Um, I have
Sanfa, if I may give
sure.
an addition to the community side of it. I was thinking lately about the community as in general, because I always see a couple of people, being involved a lot. And I was like, yeah, we should, and then that's definitely how do you say it in English? As in like in a point of improvement. Yeah, I think that's I think that's the correct one. A point of improvement for us, as in like just ask the community more often, as in like I don't know, maybe some nice entrances into companies or with sales or with marketing, and even for me, as in like with the investing side. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all have a very interesting network, and I was like, yeah, well, we should get more involved into it together. Collaborate way more together. And I think that well, the forum is a good start. And yeah, on personal level, I will be way more active in the next couple of months and so. Yeah, definitely heard. I just want to say that you guys are definitely heard. And yeah, looking forward to it to collaborate way more together. So that's why I wanted to say it to you, Sanfa.
Thank you very much. And I think we all agree. We all want to get more involved. And as my reaction to Nick, of course, we don't want anything that's going to hurt the company. But yeah, at least maybe you can put it on the agenda and think about it. I think the things you mentioned that maybe it doesn't cost much is give the private investors the inside scoop, give them the first um, early releases of something. I don't care, but something to make it to show your appreciation as a company towards those private investors will go a long way, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Sanfa. We will put it on your agenda and have a look at it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for the input. Thank you. Yeah, we just want to take a step back because we see that there are still some questions about the financial side. This one is for Diana. Please go ahead. About the financials at this state.
Oh, sorry, I was talking with myself. Apologies. Yeah, I've been reading that there is more appetite to know about the financial situation and the reports that we are generating at the moment. So as per a normal company, the final report would be generated at the end of the year. So such as the financial statement that we can share, of course. However, reading through the questions, I also see that there is a lot of um, curiosity, and maybe we can as a community think about the possibility to get more insight and understand what exactly the community wants to see, and we can start building a dashboard or something that provides you major information and also make the whole process of finance more transparent to all of us. As you all know, crypto is a very young industry, and we cannot tell that we have the whole pillars or the finance strategy set up at this point. So this is also a learning process with us. So besides the normal financial statements, the cash flows, the BS that we have and we are building and would be ready at the end of the year, any other extra report that I guess it makes sense, I understand. Um, yeah, let's engage together and start. Maybe we can create a session where we can receive the inputs. What would be something tangible that you would like to see, and we can start thinking about how we can build this and make it available in one of our channels, so maybe our website. I don't know. I just giving ideas, but the whole message is to engage together and see how we can create more ways to communicate around this topic and start uh, feeling more confident about the numbers and the finances. Charlotte, is there
Thank you,
something around that?
Diana. I hope that yeah, gives you more satisfaction in on the financial side. Um, what is also a big topic, and it's also what Jeroen already referred to, is about communication and marketing. Yes, of course, we are reflecting this with our own teams. We have we are in the middle of a process of reevaluating the marketing strategy, the communication strategy, and the business strategy in a whole, which you already had a piece of information about. If we're looking into the communication side, we have the different social medias. There were questions, okay, why are we only building on the social media side? Yes, totally agree. So what we are planning to do is, as we of course just heard from Sunfell as well, that you really would select every kind of detail of progress. So what we will do is write a monthly newsletter. This will be distributed via the socials media medium, of course, where you can read all the monthly updates. And besides that, it will be a monthly AMA. Even if there's just one person listening or just three people, we give the possibility or initiative a platform where the community can tune in and listen to the updates and ask questions on that. So that is a part of improvement of the communication. There was also more leadership engagement that we were only leaning on the moderators at this moment. Um, Also, yes, we do not deny that. And this is also a wake up for us that we need to be far more engaged on Discord as the leading team, so to say. Um, of course, we have events. We experienced that all the events from the last year were very, very interesting for us and gave us a lot of exposure. Um, we went to Met Amsterdam. That was one of the first metaverse events that was created in Amsterdam. It was very cool. We had a possibility for panel discussions, and that are the touch points that we are using for our exposure, and which will be proceeding into 2023 as well. We have a KPI of being on getting exposure of being on the top 10 sustainable events on the one hand, but also on the crypto minded events. One of them is Barcelona, that will be in February. Tomorrow we have just an example, we have a call with them to see if we can collaborate here. So showing our faces in the events is definitely one interesting point for us to create exposure, because we do not need to forget is that we are in one leg, we are on the crypto side, but on the other hand we are the traditional the traditional businesses. So we are trying to target both sides. Also, we are going to expand the teams. I think that communication and marketing is one of the teams that we really need to have to focus on. Yeah, so, and again, this is our thinking from our perspective. And I think the one of the biggest focuses is that how can we involve the communication of the community far more in all kind of aspects from the company. So if it's going to be communication, tech, marketing, sales, finance, whatsoever, that means is that we are still also trying to find ways to get the attention of the community for specific topics. So please, if somebody has an idea, for example, put that AMA question, is that how would be, what do you need from us right now? So what would be the most effective way of maybe a platform or communications that we can reach everybody? Because we do believe we have created a lot of content over the year about projects that are getting onboarded. Also, we're going far more into detail with the methodology of the Coorest Carbon Standard, which can be read in Gitbook as well. But even then, we are recognizing that that is still not enough. So we need your input on that. Is what are the best ways to get you guys involved and get that discussion running? So yeah, please give us tips for that, because we are doing everything, like I said, from our perspective, but we really can use your input on that. So like I said, the communication strategy is, yeah, we are renewing that. That's also something that marketing is renewing. And I don't know if you can tell something about the marketing at this time.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, well, also Eamon's department. Yeah, of course. So marketing, at this point, we are focusing on the Coorest Carbon Standard, of course, which is a big part, and it's also in some cases a difficult part, as in, well, not saying difficult, it's challenging, because that space, which the Carbon Standard is in, is pretty evaluating, with all these new regulations from the European Union, the local governments. So that is a big chunk of the marketing. And we are now working behind the scenes to create a new market positioning for that, because we want to be more aggressive with it, especially against competitors. Because like sometimes I'm feeling like we're battling Goliath, and that in some cases it is. But it is important that we are going to market that correctly, as in like what we are telling, but also in what can we do with it. Besides the Coorest Carbon Standard, there is a lot of research has been done, and is still going on, especially regarding target groups, and also to get more more data for the sales team. Sorry. Because we have the NF3s, we have the tokens, we have the Coorest Carbon Standard. In most cases, there are different target groups, and there we have different sectors, and in every sector there's a different focus point and strategy. So there's a lot of things, but and that is something that I read in the community. I think a couple of weeks ago. Someone said, well, why aren't we more aggressive? And I was like, well, that person has right. Yeah, it is. I think we can be more aggressive, because let's say Coorest is just 1 year old, maybe not even yet. I mean, and in the beginning you're pretty careful with all these things, especially if it's a young startup. But now we're settling. Our software is ready. The company is getting ready. The Coorest Carbon Standard is here. We have multiple very very cool achievements this year. So we now can be more aggressive, and I think that we should be doing that. So we're doing some new research. We're going to improve the website as well. We are also looking into new ways and tools to gather data from target groups that are already connected with us, and also combined with website optimizations. So we have I always divide it in. We have strategy and we have implementation. You can expect us to be more aggressive in the near future. If that's answering the question. I can sometimes have long sentences, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Jeroen. Let's go to the next part. We also have like the science team running in pretty fast in all doing the calculations and the methods and the CCO of the CCS carbon standard with the methodology and so on. There were a little bit of some questions about adding the calculations of those CO2 calculations into the Git book. Nick, could you explain more what we are doing there at the moment in the science team?
So all the information now, I would say more easily readable and understandable, because in the Coorest Carbon Standard, the report and the validation report from Earthwood, that's basically a scientific paper of 26 pages. I understand that people not all want to go into that scientific paper. So we made it more digestible in Gitbook, where you can go through the methodology, you can go through the minting process, you can go through the projects that have been onboarded, and you can see the reportings and the references where we get our data from. And you can go into the individual tokens of projects. So because we try to show as much as possible. And I think if you can compare it to other registries out there, you can basically track it until the token of each project and see how much that token is generating each year, basically. And I think that is the nice thing of blockchain, is that you can make it super transparent. But obviously it's still depending on a team that has only a limited capacity, and we are now starting to onboard projects, so we have to basically divide our time in getting board reporting. So hopefully next year we will have more people that can assist in that, because the science team is a very important part. So that's now on Gitbook, and Gitbook is constantly being updated. I mean, the Coorest Carbon Standard is it's just the first version, right? So that will be updated within the next months or years. It's an iterative process, where we continuously update the Gitbook and the standard itself, but also the data collection will evolve over time, because we focus now primarily on data inputs from project and satellite data, but the space is continuously evolving and more sensors and more data sources will become available. And I'm sure that we will add more over time to make it more accurate, because in the end of the day, all science isn't perfect. There isn't a single calculation method that is perfect. There's always some margin of error, and over time, new insights will come on how to calculate and how to measure. As you can imagine, that new studies are being conducted all over the world at this moment, and we keep an eye on that to see, okay, if we get new insights, how can we integrate them? How can that improve the Coorest carbon standard? Because it's also depending on the technology. Especially if you look at sensors, more and more sensors are becoming available, more and more satellite data is becoming available. And we just made version 1, basically, where we work together with our partner that measures biomass. But there's also technologies that can measure CO2 absorption, and so yeah, there's a long way ahead of us regarding the science of CO2 measurement and monitoring.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Is there anything somebody wants to ask about this or wants to add? Please, if the stage has anything to add, please let us know.
Yeah, maybe it's good to explain because we in the Coorest carbon standard we focus on additionality, and therefore we said, okay, we want to focus not only on the trees but also what happens below the trees, basically, and in the ground. Because we were advised in the beginning by people, okay, have an holistic approach on how you calculate CO2. Because it's not just the trees that absorb CO2, but it's the ecosystem where the tree is located. And if you start to plant trees, and especially if you do it in a way that it's helping the biodiversity, it impacts the ecosystem as a whole. And that's why we chose to have the focus on additionality, biodiversity in the standard, and therefore we want to calculate above ground and below ground, and take that into account for CO2 token generation. That is basically the I think the main difference between different standards, because if you look at other voluntary carbon market standards out there's also projects that tokenize existing forests, and that's something we don't do. And there's also projects that don't calculate CO2 of fruit-bearing trees, for example. And that is something that we do. Yeah, it's all a matter of choices, right? And how you think you can contribute to CO2 capturing. And we think that we have a way that is beneficial to nature by adding new trees to land that was degraded or was burned down or destroyed or whatever, and then have that monitored by satellite data and calculate on an annual basis, basically. That is the choices that we made for this standard.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. And I think that this is a good addition of what we are doing with the science team. And I know that a lot of that we had some questions. Okay, come with specific numbers. yeah, we can give specific numbers, but if we just throw them into all of our platforms, they're going to live their own lives without the context and misinterpretation. So this definitely will come, and is in the system of the making, and that we have just a whole good document for everybody to see how the methodology is built, and the more transparent doing it this way, we cannot be more transparent in that, and so we hope that people that understand that everything is going to be in that document, and that we're not going to share all kind of information over the net. So the next thing that also was a lot of interesting is gaming. I think that William,
Yes,
you can tell
I
us more
will.
about the gaming side.
I will. So we started with my Coorest tree, the app. You could grow your tree, you could harvest it for figs, and we always said that in the future we would implement something with CO2 in that. And besides my Coorest tree, we started developing Novaterra, the metaverse. And let's start by telling that the guys are still doing a great job in developing Novaterra, but if we are honest and realistic to ourselves, it's not our core business. So we we keep on developing it, but we want to say that we are open to, and maybe there's somebody who thinks that Novaterra is the right fit for him, and that he would be interested in um, in acquiring Novaterra and maybe developing it even further beyond what we could ever do. So I think we still want, or we keep on developing it, but it's not our core business. And with everything's going on and everything that we have been doing in the last couple of months, we have to be clear to ourselves that okay, we should focus on our core business, CO2 and trees, and it's good that we can do it on the side, but maybe somebody else is better for this. So I think the the core of my story is we are still developing it, but if you are, or if you know some people that might be interested in having a talk with us to see if we can collaborate or in any way talk about Novaterra or the gaming business unit, then please contact me, and we can talk about it. And I think that's it. And if you Charlotte, I don't know if there are any other questions about it, and feel free to ask them.
Yeah, thank you, Wilma. I don't see any other questions revolving about this topic so far. I think another good one to explain is Coorest coming to the Elysium anytime soon? Who wants to take this one on?
Let me. Yeah, so it's definitely our to become multi-chain. So we are a Polygon native project, because when we started with the first NF3s, it was all built on Polygon, and we actually used the Venly infrastructure for that when we just launched, and then we started building, and in the time we have built quite a complex system where we use multiple smart contracts. We use Chainlink network to get satellite data on chain. So that's all great, but it also makes it a bit harder to basically move everything to another blockchain. But it's definitely our ambition to go multi-chain, and it doesn't mean that you have to grab the whole DApp and everything at once and migrate that. It can also, I think, go in stages. Maybe first with NF3s or CO2 tokens, Um, but to be honest, I'm not really familiar with the tech stack of Elysium at this moment. But definitely we are interested in migrating up some tokens or some NFTs to Elysium, because yeah, we really appreciate the community, and they are using the NFTs in the games, and yeah, we and those NFTs, they will keep coming, right? So, and we are all focused on making Elysium green. So that is 100% something that we really want to keep doing. Um, and I think there's still some unknowns about the tech, how it exactly works with the bridges. I have to spend more time looking into the technical details, how that all works, and what effort it would take from our side and from the Elysium tech team to get tokens or projects over to that chain. But I think it will become that information will come over the next couple of weeks and or months, because I know Elysium is already it's live. Maybe there are some things that needs to be finalized. If I understood correctly, it's an EVM chain, but maybe someone from Vulkan community can fill me in on that. Um, because um, at this moment our tech team is at 100% capacity. So if we have to migrate, then that would require extra dev capacity. And as you all know, developers are not the cheapest ones, so that's also something to balance in the budget. But yeah, maybe if there is support from that can help us migrate, that would be highly appreciated by us, to see how we can bring more sustainability on the chain itself.
Yes, I just got a confirmation that it is indeed an EVM chain.
Nice. So that makes things a lot easier. Okay, great. That's a good thing.
Perfect. So definitely covered a lot of questions that we found back in the AMA questions. Are there any questions still that anyone of the audience wants to have answered? Please come to the stage. Nope, I don't think anything other questions here. I just see a mention is that looking at the Git book is great to see some tech explained. Please consider using Discord announcement channel a bit more often when something significant is added to the Git book. We will do. That is what we are doing right now as well. When something is changed in the Git book, that we get an announcement that everybody's aware. And yeah, of course, that we need to be more focused on the internally base of the community. So if we do not have any more questions, maybe people on stage want to have a last word or share anything for the last time.
Yeah, I saw also some questions regarding Chainlink grant. Somebody wanted to know how we use the funds for that money, and what was built for that. I can explain that. So Chainlink funded the development of the integration of satellite data, and the onboarding process for farmers. So basically, what was done is it was cut in four pieces. That grant. One was for getting satellite data on chain. One was for building the smart contracts so they can digest the satellite data, and one was for mapping areas that can be monitored and then sent to the to our partner Floodlight, because you have to look at it from in the process is that okay, a farmer contacts us, they have to do some we have to do some due diligence, and in order to do that there needs to be a tool for a farmer where he can map his area in order for us to check it and send it to Floodlight and do the first biomass calculations and checks if it hasn't been deforested before. Yeah, after the satellite company, they have to gather all kinds of satellite data, their own analysis about biomass, to see if trees are growing well and if everything is still okay. Then that data has to be put on the blockchain via a Chainlink Oracle. That needed to be built, and we had to build smart contracts with the integration of proof of reserve, meaning okay, that biomass data directly feeds into the functionality of CO2 token minting. So without that data, we cannot mint tokens. It acts as a mint lock. So that needed to be built. We're adding a second step to that proof of reserve to check the total CO2 token supply, because it's basically a floating supply, and because there's CO2 tokens coming on chain and people will be burning them, and so the token supply deflates, and therefore we need to integrate a proof of reserve proving that we are not exceeding the maximum amount of CO2 tokens at any moment in time. So that needed to be built, and all the documentation needed to be built. And that was a lot of work, to be honest. So yeah, so that money went all in development capacity. So developers building, basically. Yeah, so that's it, how we
I think we lost you, Nick.
say again.
I think we lost you somewhere.
It's too technical.
No. The connection.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah. But I think we definitely got a good picture of how we of how the chilling grant is used.
Yeah, maybe for the technical people, if they in Gitbook, you can go into the Coorest smart contracts. You can go into the Chainlink Oracle. We are making a biomass data call every month, on the third, the fourth, or the fifth day of each month. You can see an Oracle call, and each project will have its own ID number, and you see us, the smart contracts, making that call each month, and that basically allows us to mint the CO2 tokens.
Okay. I think then we end at the end of this AMA, and unless people just want to add a quick thing. Maybe the board still wants to add something.
I only wanted to say that I think there were some good questions, yeah, I think I really think that we should share more information. Also, maybe more into some micro stuff, because I I hear from Sunfil that he likes to have some small items regarding marketing and stuff. But yeah, let's do it. I mean, I think it's only exciting to show what we are working on. Although not every day, not every week, or not every month, it's that excited. I mean, in some cases, it is meeting after meeting and making long days sometimes it's also a lot of administrative stuff. But hey, I think that we should share a bit more, and yeah, looking forward to it. I already have a chat with Eamon regarding. Well, we can have a look at what we can share, and yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you all.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, and yes, that we do have a good story to tell. We have amazing things that we developed so far. We do really have a lot of interest from all kinds of spaces, and we're really doing our best to make Coorest a success, more a success than it already is. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. If there are still things you want to discuss with us, please do. We are open for every discussion or any question you have. Yeah, and we will you will hear from us, like we said that we will communicate more to the community. And for now, I wish you a good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. And let's stand together and create an amazing project. Thank you all.